When the child I rescued from drowning showed up at my door, he threatened to ruin my life. The kid was standing on my porch, next to two adults I'd never seen before. He was pointing at me, like I was some kind of criminal. He looked about 15 now, taller than his mother, with that awkward teenage posture, where the shoulders haven't caught up with the height. I didn't recognize him at first, the last time I'd seen him. He was 8 years old, blue around the lips, choking up lake water on the beach, while his parents screamed for help. 7 years had passed since I'd pulled him out of Lake Morrison. During a family camping trip, I'd honestly forgotten his name, until his father said it. Dylan Foster. The man speaking was his dad, Richard, a guy in his late 40s, expensive sunglasses pushed up on his head, the kind of confident anger that comes from never being told no. His wife Jennifer stood behind Dylan, hand on his shoulder. She had this tight expression, trying to be supportive, but came across as rehearsed. Richard told me we needed to talk about what happened that day at the lake. The way he said it made my stomach drop. Before my brain could even process why, I'd been living in the same small house in Pinewood for 11 years, working as a high school biology teacher, living a quiet life that I genuinely enjoyed. The house was nothing special, just a 2-bedroom ranch, decent backyard, mortgage I could actually afford, on a teacher's salary. The lake rescue had happened during a rare vacation week when I'd gone camping alone, trying to clear my head after a bad breakup that summer. I'd been sitting by the shore reading when I heard the screaming, saw the kid thrashing in water, deeper than it looked. The rescue itself was instinctive, fast, maybe 2 minutes of swimming out, grabbing him under the arms, hauling him back to shore, where his parents took over. With hysterical gratitude, they'd thanked me probably 20 times, got my contact information to send a thank you card. That was supposed to be the end of it. Richard Foster didn't waste time with pleasantries. When I opened the door wider, asked what this was about, he said Dylan had been in therapy for the past 6 months, dealing with trauma. During those sessions, he'd revealed that something happened during the rescue that I needed to answer for. The words came out carefully, like he'd practiced this speech. Jennifer's grip on Dylan's shoulder tightened. When Richard said the word trauma, my face went hot. I knew exactly what he was implying. My first instinct was to slam the door, call the cops, but I didn't. Some stupid part of my brain still believed this was a misunderstanding that could be cleared up with a simple conversation. I asked what Dylan thought happened. Richard said his son remembered being touched inappropriately while I was bringing him to shore, that the rescue had involved unnecessary physical contact that went beyond what was needed to save his life. Dylan wouldn't look at me. While his father talked, he kept his eyes on the porch boards. When I said his name, to try to get him to look up, Jennifer pulled him slightly behind her, like I was dangerous. The whole scene felt surreal, wrong, like I'd stepped into someone else's nightmare. I told them the rescue was 7 years ago. I barely remembered the details, beyond pulling a drowning kid to safety. Richard's face hardened when I said that. He pulled out his phone to show me something. It was a written statement, typed up formally, with dates and times, describing the rescue from Dylan's perspective, with details that made my skin crawl. The statement claimed I'd held him in ways that weren't necessary, that my hands had been in places they shouldn't have been, that I'd made comments while we were in the water that scared him. None of it was true, but seeing it written out in formal language made it feel horribly real, in a way that casual accusations wouldn't have. Jennifer spoke for the first time, said they'd already consulted with a lawyer about filing a civil suit, that they were here as a courtesy to give me a chance to admit what happened and settle this privately before it became public. The word settle made everything click into place in my head. This wasn't about justice or protecting Dylan from a predator. This was about money, and they'd chosen me because I was a teacher with a clean record who would be desperate to avoid scandal. And that's when I saw the car they'd arrived in. Full story is linked below or on my channel.